Unfortunately, the Milk by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Skottie Young. The human is holding the milk in order to make these evil, redecorating snot bubbles go away and stop menacing the planet and us, said Professor Steg. The Diplodocus, in a police cap, opened its mouth and didn't say anything. The Tyrannosaurus, who had handcuffed all the green globby people together with something that looked a lot more like pink string in a can than it looked like handcuffs, which was a good thing because they probably didn't have hands and they definitely didn't have wrists, stared at us and his eyes opened wide. Great day in the morning, he exclaimed. A biped, a stegosaurus, a floaty ball person carrier, and he stopped as if unable to go on. A pterodon flapped over to us, then landed at Professor Steg's feet. It looked up at him and said hesitantly, could you be the inventor of Professor Steg's pointy zooming into outer space machine? Of Professor Steg's really good moves around in time machine? Would you be the author of My Travels into the Extremely Far Future and What I Found There? Professor Steg, wisest of all dinosaur kind. Madam, is it truly you? It is, said the professor. Madam, I thought, embarrassed. And this is my assistant. The pterodon extended a wingtip for me to shake, and without thinking, I moved the second milk from my right hand to my left, where the first milk was. Everybody gasped. Unfortunately, the milk that had been in my right hand, which was the same as the milk that was already in my left hand, the same milk 15 minutes apart, touched each other. I held my breath. There was a fizzing noise and a mewing as if hundreds of kittens were being agitated in an enormous blanket. Professor Steg closed her eyes. I can't look, she said. 3 purple dwarfs with flower pots on their heads appeared from nowhere and began to do a little dance. Did the universe end? Said the Tyrannosaurus, with eyes tightly scrunched closed. Look, I said. We all watched the dwarves dance. They weren't human, and they weren't dinosaurs. They had purple skin, and the flower pots on their heads had lots of flowers growing out of them. They did a complicated sort of dance with lots of leg kicking and shouting of oi and ole and perchung. And then, as strangely as they had come, they vanished. Ah, said Professor Steg, it was always a possibility that this might happen, and fortunately the universe did not end. She pressed the button again with her tail. A small hole in space and time opened up. I was standing on the other side with a baffled expression on my face. Catch, I shouted and threw the milk through the hole. As the portal closed, I saw me catch the milk using my stomach. The green globby aliens having been rounded up and taken away, all the space dinosaurs gathered around. I can't believe it, said the Diplodocus. Professor Steg, just like in the comics, the dinosaur who taught us that in the far future, small mammals will eat their breakfast cereal with milk on it. Inventor of the button. She's here in front of us with her gorilla. Not a gorilla, but a human father, said Professor Steg. And all the other dinosaurs gasped and said things like, how wise she is, and what a brain, and how can you tell the difference between the creature and a gorilla? Is it the shoes? Professor Steg said, the human father has been my companion on my strange journey into the future. Now before I take my leave of him and come with you, O space dinosaurs, we should sing to him one of the great old dinosaur songs. They sang me a song in 6-part harmony called How Do You Feel the Morning When You Know What You Did Last Night? Then they sang a song called Don't Go Down to the Tar Pits, Dear, Because I'm Getting Stuck on You. The Space Police dinosaurs sang me a song about being space police and saving people all over the universe and driving very fast space bikes. And then they all sang a song called I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Hard, Hairy, Wet White Crunchers, which was an ancient dinosaur song that had apparently been written by Professor Steg's Aunt Button. There is nothing in the world of creation as beautiful as dinosaurs singing in harmony. Now, said Professor Stagg, I shall go off in my floaty ball person carrier with my newfound dinosaur space police friends, and I shall explore the universe, and then I shall return to my own time and write a book about it. You actually write several books, said the Diplodocus. Professor Stagg's Guide to Everything in the Whole of the Future was my favorite. It's very inspirational. I said goodbye to all the dinosaurs. I thanked Professor Stagg for saving my life. Not at all, she said. We are both fortunate that you had the milk with you, and it is not every container of milk that saves the world, after all. That was me that saved the world, I said, not the milk. The space dinosaurs all had their pictures taken holding the milk and smiling at the camera. What are you going to do with the milk? They asked me. Are you going to put it in a museum? No, I am not, I told them. I am going to give it to my children for their breakfast cereal, and possibly I will pour some in my tea. Professor Stagg nipped back up the rope ladder and climbed into the gondola of her balloon. The last I saw of her, of any of them, the whole inside of the saucer was fading into light so bright it had to close my eyes and look away. And then I was standing at the back door of our house, none the worse for wear. Fortunately, the dinosaurs had given me back the milk after they had taken their photos with it. So I came in, and here I am. That was what my dad said. I looked at my sister, and my sister looked at me. Then we both looked around the kitchen at the calendar on the wall and with the hot air balloons on it, and my dinosaur models, and my sister's ponies, and my sister's vampire books, at the picture of a volcano I had painted when I was little last year, and was still up on the fridge by the wall. We looked at those things, and we looked at my dad. You know we don't believe any of this, said my sister. We don't. Not any of it, especially not how you saved the world from being remodeled, or the pirates. Not any of it, I said. My father shrugged. Suit yourselves, he said, but it was all true, and I can prove it. How? Yes, how? Asked my little sister. Well, said my father, putting it down on the kitchen table, here's the milk. And when he went back to reading his paper, on the bottom is the Pirish Spanish doubloon from the beginning of the book. The end. Fortunately, the Milk by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Skottie Young.